Let's go back to Eastern Martin.
He got dominated.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's go back to the.
that's y'all
Ohio,
guy.
The Ohio battle.
I came in late on that fourth, fifth round. It looked like I was watching a snooze fest. So it don't look like I missed nothing. Did I?
When it was coming on, Carson and I, we were texting. It wasn't as like, I guess for the sake of words, as bad as we thought it was. Like we thought there was going to be less, or at least me. I'm gonna speak for myself. I thought that we wouldn't get as much action as we got. Not that we got, a jumbo size amount of action, but I thought collectively it was a pretty decent fight. But however, when you're rooting for one guy and you don't see that guy doing anything, Carson, you've known him for a long time. I've been in the ring with him probably a couple hundred times. So when you don't see a guy doing what you expect him to do and what you know he can do, it really just deflates your bubble and lets you down.
Yeah, it's frustrating from the standpoint. We've mentioned it with other fighters. If Ryan Martin, I'm going to call him Turbo because Blue Chip, I never was a fan of the nickname, but so Turbo. Shout out to Breaking, but
I was gonna say
so people understand that Ryan Martin looks like Turbo. So
Turbo from the movie Breaking.
Yeah. So if he wasn't very talented or if he wasn't extremely talented, we would have no issue. He'd be a friend that you'd be like, I hope he does well. If he doesn't, whatever. But we know the pedigree he has, and like you said, you've been in the ring with him, and it's just he comes off the Josh Taylor fight where he very admittedly just couldn't pull the trigger. He just froze up, whatever it was, just couldn't make it happen. Wins a couple fights on his comeback, and then last night it was better than the Taylor fight, no question. But there's just something. It's just not clicking, and I'm not sure if there's something that you can do to change that. I'm not sure if that's something you can change. Like I have no clue. Yeah, you would have better insight on that than me, but. It's frustrating. He, like I said, looked better. And Robert Easter, in all fairness, looked really good, especially he hasn't fought since 2019. I thought Bunny looked good too. Just was firing that jab out there, and Turbo couldn't really get around it to get his offense going.
Bob Billings will never see a title again.
You don't think Easter could somehow get one?
Bob Billings will never see a title again.
So he's at 140 now, and he says he's feeling much stronger at 140. Said he was cutting into his muscle to get to 135. I believe that. I know what that's like. I do think that at 140 he can see a championship. I think that he's still got some work to do, even with what he was doing along the way before he, took the loss to Mikey Garcia and things like that. Does he also have a draw?
Yeah, against your guy Bartholomew.
Right. Yeah. So when that happened, I think there was a kind of plateaued. He kind of, reached a certain height. And I think that it was mental for him to say, this is where I am and this is who I am. I think now he needs to kind of rewire himself and say, hey, now I'm at 140. I'm going to get stronger, be stronger than I've ever been. Let me add this to my repertoire, add that, and become a great 140-pound fighter, opposed to, who you were struggling at 135 and then, suffered a couple of little small setbacks at 135. So I do think that he needs to get better. I think he can get better. And if he gets better, he'll be a very good 140.
It was also funny for both of those guys at 40, they're both very tall. So
even at 40.
Yeah. So typically like Robert Easter is going to be comfortably taller than his opponent, and Turbo usually is going to be comfortably taller than his opponent. And yesterday that was not the case. They were right there, but yeah, it was okay. I would say it wasn't a great action fight, but it was decent. But yeah, I think Easter he can get a title at 40, depending on the shot on who ends up with the belts there.
Yeah.
I think if you guys wasn't there, he'll go to 147. But don't do that.
Oh, no.
I thought you were including me with Sean.
Come on, Carson.
And I was like, what the hell?
Carson, you're not even at 147.
No, just
I'm
barely.
not even at 247.
Yeah, I'm just a few over.
I'm rounding 347.
Yeah, I'm just a few over 147.
What you were talking about, Sean, like he up until that Mikey Garcia loss, he was a come forward, like seek and destroy kind of guy, walk you down.
Exactly.
Ever since then, he's been, timid.
Yeah.
And he's got to find a way, like we were talking about with Valdez, to mix in some of the stuff he's been doing in these last couple fights with what got him to the IBF title at lightweight.
Yeah,
and if he can do that, then he could be a problem again. But
yeah, and it's weird because it's like it's a small disconnect because your jab is landing, and then it's like when you decide that, hey, I'm gonna throw a 1-2 here. The 1-2 is like, even if the 2 didn't land, the 1 did, and then you're setting up other things. You know, a lot of these guys out here, I mean, I think that they're just, it's boxing, you know. So I'm not gonna front like there's nothing to worry about, but at the same time, perform and use your abilities so that you nullify anything that there is to worry about. When you're tall and as long as Easter is, keep a guy on the end of your jab and keep snapping it. Don't all of a sudden like throw a lethargic jab out of nowhere and then go back to your snap and go back and forth with that. You know, keep it strong, keep it long, and keep it moving. Don't say nothing, Carson.
That was crazy, but that I think Bunny can really. I think he can. Like Sean Chettel said, I think if he can get his confidence back to where it was pre-Mikey Garcia, and because he was, for a lot of time, he was a fun fighter to watch. The Bartholomew fight is considered one of the worst fights to watch. So that was obviously not one of those. But
it seems like it seems Toledo, Cincinnati area. It seems like there was a fire up there, and it seems like that fire has just kind of like been lit, been sprayed out, you know what I mean?
On the whole west side of Ohio, right down the border.
Yeah, I mean, because let's keep it real. Like when these guys were coming to the ring, they were singing, they were dancing, they were feeling it, they were loving it. And that wasn't just AB.
Now, he walked to the ring to fight you. I thought he was about to sleep you.
AB?
The way he was dancing.
Yeah, he was dancing. He was
he got all the confidence.
I mean, when he got out of the car against Maidana, he was hitting some dance moves.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, so when you take a look and you say Robert Easter isn't performing the same way he used to, he suffered a loss, he suffered a draw, blase, and then you take a look at who he's under. That person isn't performing the same, and so I think it's just somewhat of a snowball effect where Robert Easter isn't performing the way that he can and should, and I think collectively it's because of what he sees coming from AB. He doesn't see AB having fun anymore. He doesn't see the confidence that AB used to have.
They're in the same camp. They're training together.
And it's like it just ain't there no more. You know what I'm saying?
It's also tough though to be not cocky, bordering on cocky, we'll say, when you're not having success. That's like if you're right now, if we were the Browns, look at the Browns. So the Browns, when we go 0-16, if in that 16th game, the Browns weren't dancing on first downs and touchdowns because you haven't had that success. Yeah. So when you're not feeling yourself, when you're not fighting well, I think it's hard to kind of get yourself jazzed up and get yourself energized like they were when they were really rolling.
Well, at the end of the day, this is where it goes for, and the same thing goes for Turbo, where you basically have to do things to get yourself back to who you used to be. That is essentially what's going on, I think, with guys like Martin and Adrian Bronner. And you know, I'm gonna toss Bunny in there simply because I don't see the charisma that I used to see, and I think that charisma, that energy, it helped them like in fights. You know what I mean? So if we want to see these guys, we'll get to AB in just a second, Anthony.
No, I got something else to say.
Okay,
but what do y'all think about? Is it time to give up Mike Stanford? You know, that's always been their trainer for years, man.
Mike
Stafford. Stafford. Sorry. No, you good. Does he make it too comfortable for him?
Well, Bunny
is it not comfortable? Is it too comfortable in their camps? It's not. He's
back with his. I think Easter's back with his dad, if I'm correct.
He left him.
He went to Kevin Cunningham, and then I think he went back to his dad. Stafford was in the corner though, so
I definitely.
You definitely saw him, so he was definitely there. I think Broner has had kind of a similar route with that, where it's something where you're get too familiar and get too comfortable, and need somebody to kind of check you, which I think Mike Stafford does to an extent. But
I think Adrian Broner needs that hardcore Kenny Porter love. R.I.P. Nassim Richardson. He needs that type of deal. He needs that's going to give it to you real and raw.
Can you imagine Abe being in a camp with KP for a whole
they fighting. They fighting. At least 3-4 times. They physically fight.
Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.